Welcome back. Today we're bringing you the model predictions for PFL Week 8. Right off the bat, we have a couple of fights where there wasn't enough information to make a prediction. So we'll be starting off with the third fight of the night between Thad Jean and Chris Brown. Thad is 7-0 and will be exactly 3 years into his professional career at the time of this fight. Chris is a bit more experienced at 10-4, but will be giving up several inches in height and reach. Both of these guys have KO power, but neither of them have ever been slept. The bookmakers believe that Thad has a clear advantage here, and the model sees something similar. We are laying 3 units on Thad and hoping to see another first-round KO. The next fight takes place at lightweight between Elvin Espinoza and Mads Burnell. Elvin is 10-1, having suffered his first professional loss in his last fight less than 2 months ago. His opponent, Mads, has more than double the number of fights at 19-6 and has won 3 out of his last 5. Burnell prefers a ground game with 9 submission wins, but has had just as many wins at the hands of the judges. Espinoza is no stranger to the ground game, with 4 of his wins coming by submission, but he also has 4 wins by KO/TKO. It seems that all Elvin needs to do to win is to keep the fight standing, but the bookmakers are favoring Mads here. The model is right in line with even a bit more confidence, so we will be placing a wager on Mads. Moving on to the final fight of the prelims, we have Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Carl Albrechtsen. Shoeface has won 4 out of his last 5 bouts, 3 of those by submission. Carl is 3-2 in his last 5, but has seen 4 canceled bouts since then. With 12 of his 16 wins coming by submission, we all know what Antonio is looking to do. Likewise, Carl has 7 KO/TKO finishes, and I'm sure he'd like to keep the fight standing. Antonio has only been stopped by strikes once in his career, and that was back in 2016. Albrechtsen has only been subbed once, and that was 2 years ago, but he did earn a few submission finishes of his own early in his career. The book odds have Antonio Carlos Jr. as a moderate favorite, while the model has the fight very close. I did run the numbers several times, all of which had this fight as a pick'em. There should be good value on the underdog here, so we are betting on Carl for the upset. The first fight on the main card is between 2 guys with a single professional fight between them, so we will jump straight past this one. The second fight on the main card sees Brent Primus at 14-3 face off against Clay Collard at 25-13. Collard has a ton of fights for a 31-year-old, and that doesn't even account for more than a dozen boxing matches. Brent is pushing 40 years old, and you'd think he was aging out of the lightweight division, but he has gone 3-1 with 1 no contest in his last 5. He's got 8 victories by submission, and he finished his last 2 fights by rear naked choke. Clay is 2-3 in his last 5 and has been 50-50 over his last 10 fights, most of which have gone to the judges. The bookmakers and I both believe that Brent's wrestle-heavy approach should trump Clay's boxing style, but the model believes otherwise. We are slaves to the model and no longer make our own betting choices, so we will be placing a bet on Clay. The feature bout at lightweight is between Godzi Rabadanov and Michael Dufort. Godzi is riding an 8-fight win streak, with all but one of those ending in unanimous decision. Dufort is coming off a single loss that ended a 5-fight win streak, 4 of those being submissions. Both of these guys prefer the ground game, but often that leads to an awkward striking battle. If Godzi is able to secure the takedowns, then he will have to avoid Dufort's submission attempts, likely leading to a boring fight. At the books, Rabadanov is a big favorite, coming in at -625. The model slightly favors Dufort, forcing us to bet on a big underdog. I don't agree with this one. I believe that Godzi will grind out a boring decision, but we'd love to see Michael catch a submission from the bottom. Next up is the co-main event, seeing Rob Wilkinson fight Dovley Yagshi Muradov. Wilkinson is the much longer guy with a crazy 8-inch reach advantage. He's also on an 8-fight win streak where he finished all but the most recent opponent. Dovlay has won his last 5 with 2 KO TKOs and has 11 more in his career. Out of 52 combined fights, these two have only seen 10 decisions total. Looking at the stats, it appears that Wilkinson is the more well-rounded fighter, and the book odds reflect that. The model is producing very similar odds, with Rob as the favorite. This should be an exciting fight, and we are hoping to see Rob get another KO on his record. Closing out the card, we have Impa Kasanganay versus Josh Silveira. This is a rematch from a November 2023 bout that saw Impa win a unanimous decision. Since then, Silveira has gone 1-1, while Kasanganay has gone 2-1. Impa has a bit more experience in major promotions and has gone 7-1 since entering the PFL. Josh is 6-3 in the PFL, but 2 of those wins have come due to his opponent getting injured. The bookmakers have Kasanganay as a pretty big favorite here, and the model also thinks he should win. It's been said that when the younger fighter wins, they are much more likely to win the rematch. Even though there isn't a large age gap here, we are looking for that one to be true this time. We've seen all the fights, now let's have a look at the betting numbers. The model had enough information to predict 7 of the 11 fights on this card. Of those, it chose 4 favorites and 3 underdogs. We have 12.89 units on the line and can very nearly double up, returning 24.24 units. Our potential profit caps out at 11.35 units here, but we still have UFC 305 the very next day. We will be putting up our predictions for that card soon, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching, and good luck.